What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sector for Nerds, and welcome back to another episode of Star Wars The Clone Wars Retro Discussions. Today we're going to be talking about Season 4, Episode 20, Bounty. This episode was directed by Kyle Dunleavy, written by Katie Lucas. The cookie for this episode: who we are never changes, who we think we are does. Now, before we begin, you guys, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. There's plenty of great content every single week here, so you definitely don't want to miss out on any of it. Today's going to be an exciting one, folks, because this is personally one of my favorite episodes, not just of this season, but of the entire show. And I didn't come alone. Joining me today, I've got two very special guests making a return to the channel. First off, please welcome back DJ.
Howdy, guys.
And also welcome back Orcaz.
Hey, what's up, guys?
In the last episode that you guys will have seen, we were chatting a lot about Asajj Ventress and we wanted to see more from her character and whatnot. Like, just a little disclaimer, at the time of this recording, we had recorded that maybe like a month ago. I had gotten like so far ahead on recording videos, so it's kind of like been a minute since I've sat down and actually recorded a Clone Wars video here. So I was like, oh, we should probably put that out there. Like, oh my gosh, like they just announced all this stuff with like Star Wars Underworld. I'm sure we'll probably incorporate some discussion about that as we go on with this discussion. So without any further ado, you guys, intro guy, let us know what's going down in this episode. Abandoned. After an assassination attempt by his forsaken apprentice Asajj Ventress, Count Dooku launches a brutal attack against the Night Sisters, massacring the entire clan. Forced into exile, Ventress wanders far into the Outer Rim, among the castaways and vagabonds of the galaxy, seeking her new life that was foretold by Mother Telzin. Thank you, intro guy. And yeah, so this episode starts out on frickin' Tatooine, and it's been a minute since we've seen that planet, but Ventress just walking around in the dead heat of the sun. It's probably got to be a little weird for her just coming off of Dathomir, which is this very dark planet, and now here she's like, oh my gosh, the light and all that. But then she walks into this bar and she's immediately taking shots. She's already had a time. She's just looking to get some booze in her and just do whatever. But then this one guy looks over at her and is like, oh, she's kind of cute, walks over to her, tries to flirt with her, doesn't go his way. He ends up dying. And it was like, oh no, well, that guy, well, he probably just had no importance. Well, turns out he does have importance.
Well, first, the bartender's like, the gentleman in the back would like to see you. And then there's Bosk, just there with some alcohol and be like, come over here. The Ventress is like skeptical, like, okay, what's going to go on here? And then Bosk is like, you just killed one of our crew members. And then he was like, okay, well, how should we handle your debt now? And then Ventress is like, what do I have to do? Join us for a job because we're short a member, or otherwise else we'll turn you over to the authorities. And then Ventress is like, I got nothing else to lose here, so why not? Could be the worst.
And then shortly after that, we see Embo, like just as a quick cameo, and he's got a pet now. He's got an Anuva, I believe they're called, which is the same creatures that went after our heroes at the Citadel, like during that mission.
I'll be honest, I was kind of frustrated when we only saw Embo for that 1 minute, because I'm like, oh, that would have been nice if he was part of the team.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would have been sick if he was on their team with the mission, but hey, Embo isn't a part of the Krait's Claw, so that's the team name. That's Boba Fett's crew, Krait's Claw. Embo's not a part of that, but...
Correct me if I'm wrong, was Embo not a part of that crew during the Dark Disciple?
Yeah, he does join them in the Dark Disciple arc. It's, Embo, Boba Fett, Lots Razi, High Singer, Bosk, all of them are with that. I remember that deleted scene with when they battle Count Dooku. He was there, I remember that.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, I'm like, I remember that deleted scene, but I can't, maybe my mind is playing tricks on me. Maybe it's not Embo. But you know who else is there, you guys? Another famous bounty hunter that just had a simple cameo in The Empire Strikes Back, and that's Dengar. Yeah. I got excited by this one. I was so happy. Low-key, I'm actually kind of like a Dengar fan. Like, Battlefront 1 helped with that, like EA Battlefront 1. And, like, everyone memes the line, like, yo, gonna take a dirt nap. Everyone loves that. Also, there was a Lego series, like Lego Star Wars The Freemaker Adventures. I remember he was also like a big part of that, and I always had a kick out of that too. So yeah, Dengar is always just one of those characters that's stuck with me personally.
Hey, boss, who's your girlfriend?
Shut up, Dengar. Hey, boss.
Boss, this is your boss.
She meets with them in their little meeting spot, and she's like, "Boss, this is your boss?" And Boba's like, "Wow, what's your problem? My name's Boba." Of course, he introduces himself, and then he introduces High Singer, which, by the way, I really like High Singer for some reason. Just his design, his appearance as a droid, how he speaks as well. Low key, I like him better than IG-88, to be honest. Like, he's so cool. Then he, explains what they're gonna do. She's kind of like indifferent to him, where she's like, "I don't like to take orders from someone with someone like your stature and obvious lack of experience." And then Boss, he tries to play her off. He's like, "She killed Orcaz. We can always find another way to settle your debts." And she's like, "No, it's all right. I'm a little short of work anyway." So then they get going.
One of the things I actually really loved about this was just like how triggered Ventress got that like this boy was their leader, because it's like, well, wait a second. I mean, you guys all seem like pretty skilled people over here, right? Like meeting Bosk, meeting Lazarazi, and it's like, well, wait a second. Why is this kid leading you guys? What is this? What makes him so special? And so I just always kind of found that interesting.
I guess she doesn't know that he was the son of Jango Fett, I guess. I don't know.
That's what I was about to say.
Doesn't know that.
Probably not. So here, I'll kind of take us through the scene where they are explained the mission, which is basically like they're introduced to Major Ragoso. They're at the space station, and they're like, okay, basically, we're getting this cargo, we're putting it on a train, you guys got to protect it. And when they start asking questions like, what is the cargo? It's like, well, that's none of your concern. Your concern is just to make sure it gets where it's going. You have to get it to... what's his name? Otua Blank, I have written down here. If you fail to protect his cargo, losing your bounty is going to be the least of your concerns. My guess is they would be hunted down and killed, presumably. But Boba then asked the question of, well, wait a minute, why do we have to travel by a train? Couldn't we just like take the ship and just land it at our destination? But they put over like, well, the atmosphere of the planet is completely pressurized, so their ship would get destroyed. And it's like, all right, well, we move on then. And Boba's like, well, why hire 6 expensive bounty hunters to just move cargo? He says, well, there's a group of people out there that want to hijack the cargo, and so far my men have been ineffective against them. So it's like, okay, we kind of get a little bit what's going on here. And then he finally puts over, like, no matter what happens, don't open this box. And it's like, okay, well, there must be something like really crazy in here then if they're really putting over, like, we're not going to tell you what it is. You're not allowed to open it. Like, what the heck is going on here? This episode does a really good job of, like, presenting all these different bounty hunters and stuff. And, like, Lazarazi being one of them. That was, like, such a cool addition to the Clone Wars, and like getting to see a little bit of like what she's all about, and we'll kind of see in a little bit the tools that she brings to the table. But it's also interesting because they just recently announced Star Wars Tales of the Underworld, and she wasn't in the trailer, but she was on the poster. So that could mean maybe a couple things, right? Like maybe she only has like a small cameo role. Maybe she's only in it for a couple seconds, kind of like Vader was in the Tales of the Empire poster. Maybe there's a little bit more to it and she's going to be heavily involved, and that's why they're maybe not showing as much. Like, who knows? Orcaz, what do you think about that?
Yeah, Lazarazi and High Singer are both on that poster, so I think they're going to have a bigger role than what Darth Vader had in Tales of the Empire. That was just clickbait. I hated that. But sure. I think Lazarazi and High Singer will have a bigger role to play in Tales of the Underworld, to be honest. I think they'll be working closely with Ventress. So that's going to be exciting to see. I'm very hyped for that.
DJ, what about you?
Why can't they just do Dark Disciple and Tales of the Underworld? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're right. That would have been the obvious answer too. I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you.
So the train's about to move, and then the ninjas see them, and the leader's like after them. So then, we're like, okay, now it's gonna be fight time soon. So Major Augusto's just sitting there like nervous, like hopefully this works. And then bounty hunters get into position. It's the robot and crap, I forget her name now. They're protecting the cargo. Boba Fett and Bosk are in the engine room, and then Ventress and Dengar are in the back. So everyone's at least in some position.
Sure.
And then Dengar asks Ventress the question, like, what's in that box? Ventress says, whatever it is, it better be worth all this trouble. And I'm like, okay. So then the ninjas come up, and sure enough, we got a fight scene.
Did anyone have any guesses of what was in the box? Like, does anybody remember? I would have been clueless, I feel like.
I don't remember
No, I don't.
the episode, but I feel like maybe when I was watching it and I didn't know, maybe I did think it was a person inside there. I don't know, but I feel like that is not a hard guess to make, to be honest.
Fair enough.
When he said don't open the box, I figured, okay, then it has to be a person, because if it was gold, it was like, oh, by all means open it, whatever. But if he said don't open it, then it had to be some special person.
Yeah, I suppose. So yeah, like we get like these like crazy action sequences and stuff, but like one of the scenes that always stands out to me is because I'm like a sucker for camera, like when there's just like one camera following the action around and things like of that nature. And I think this is really the first time in Clone Wars that they did this, but they follow Boba Fett as he's moving from the spot where he was helping Bosk over to the cargo, and as he's walking down the train, like the camera follows him. They like, you know, pan around him and then see the action that's going on behind him. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, and I don't know if you watched like the webisode for it, where it was Dave Filoni, Sam Witwer, Katie Lucas, and I think James Arnold Taylor. It might have been someone, but they were all reacting to that episode, and they commented on that like long take that they did, the camera work and everything. It is so good, dude.
Yeah, I love it. And then freaking Heisinger as well, like right after that, he just like starts spinning and he's like just blasting all the ninjas in like 10 different directions or whatever. Like it was crazy.
Reason number one why he's better than IG-88.
Exactly. That move alone is why he is, dude.
All right, yeah, there we go. We've just penciled it in right now. It's confirmed. Heisinger is better than IG-88. One of the other scenes that sticks out to me as well, and again, maybe it's just because Dengar, Battlefront, whatever, but when he starts planting the proximity mines on them, I'm like, oh, that's where they probably got the move from in Battlefront, is from that moment. He's just like starts planting them on everybody, and then he just like takes a step back and they all blow up. Like that was crazy. And then immediately following that as well, like you have Ventress, like she's going up against 3 of them, but she's kind of like having to pick her spots, right? Because it's, you know, 3-on-1. So it's like, all right, dodge, land a punch, take a step back, and then they pull out their swords, like vibro blades, whatever. And Ventress just like pulls her sabers out and is like, all right, we're gonna put an end to this real quick, and then just slices them. They're like, wait, what?
What?
Oh, what is this?
They weren't
what
expecting
is this
a Jedi.
thing? Yeah, they weren't expecting something, right?
They've probably never seen a lightsaber before, so to see that happen to them is like, what the heck?
Yeah, probably not, right? So, also, Ventress does a Force Repulse in this fight. Shout out to the Force Unleashed. Like, that was incredible. And if you notice, too, when she's contacting Boba, and she's like, I could use a hand back here, she's holding her saber in a reverse grip like Starkiller.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else picked up on that, but I thought that was cool.
Did that on purpose, huh? I wonder if they did that for a shout out to Sam.
I feel like there's a lot of things that they've done in Clone Wars, like even in like season 7 when he's like walking around the ship, like force pulling clones and stuff off the platforms. Like that has to just be like, okay, Force Unleashed style, you know what I'm saying? Or when he's like pulling on the when Maul is pulling on the reactors, like the same way that Starkiller would hold the Star Destroyer. I think Dave Filoni, like he knows what's up. You know what I'm saying?
Filoni's awesome. When you're talking about like Ventress contacting Boba, forgot to mention Dengar was the first of the 6 to be eliminated from the cargo.
Yes. So he goes out first, and then Bosk goes out second, I believe.
Yeah, because it's when Ventress asks for a hand, Boba sends Bosk to go help the rookie. And then when Bosk is doing that, they sneak attack Bosk with like some blinding, like spray, or I don't know what they did. It was like some blinding dust or something where he couldn't see.
It was like pixie dust or something. But yeah, then eventually after they send like 2 or 3 waves of these ninjas out, there's one in particular that just jumps on the platform and he's got a different mask and everything. And Major Orgoso points out he's the leader, which I think we all could have probably picked that out, but thanks for making sure that we all knew that.
I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
He eventually gets rid of both Heisinger and Lotz. Lotz ends up using her. It's like a vine. It's almost poison ivy-like or something like she would have, just like a vine that's attached to her or something.
Yeah, me from Poison Ivy from DC.
Is that exactly what they were trying to do? I wonder.
I don't know, because I think Poison Ivy and Lotz Razi, like what they do, are kind of pretty different. But I know that Poison Ivy uses like vines and stuff. But yeah,
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. But then what happens is she goes for the attack with her vine, and the dude ducks, and it hits Heisinger, and then kicks Heisinger off, and almost like in Obi-Wan when he kicks Jango off the platform. Oh, not good. And they both go flying off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great fight scene, by the way, though.
It was.
The fight choreography with Lots Razi versus Crismo, that's his name, the leader.
Yes.
But, and then, he kind of gets her, kind of knocks her out a little bit. Then he has that fight, a little bit of a fight with Heisinger. His acrobatics and stuff, I mean, he really is a ninja. Pretty good fighter, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and then he gets in there with Boba, and he kicks him in the head like 6 times, and 5 of them were unprotected, like weren't guarded by the helmet. So poor Boba's just getting his head kicked in, literally. And he falls over the cargo, and this girl pops out, and I was like, oh, okay. I think I get what's going on here.
I will be the first to say I saw that coming. I saw that coming.
But clearly Boba still had no clue what was going on, because he's like, don't worry, I'll protect you. It's not like this guy, I'm sure, is here to not rescue you. Why else would you be locked away in this box?
He's the guy trying to kidnap her. We're the people protecting her, even though she was locked in this box.
And I was like, Boba, you big dumb idiot.
Hey, he's still a kid. Don't forget, he's still a kid.
He's still a little Boba Fett. That is true. That is true. He's got a lot of growth to have yet, for sure. For sure. We end up finding out that was it Grismo?
Grismo.
Yeah, Grismo.
Yeah.
It's with a K.
With a K, Crismo. Okay.
Crismo.
Yeah, so Crismo is this little girl's older brother. It's like, oh, nice little moment. They hug and everything. It's short-lived because then Ventress walks in, and they have a really cool fight scene. This is probably my favorite fight scene in the whole episode. And she's not even really using sabers. They're just going, fist to fist. She starts punching them, punch to the head, gut punch, force choke. Throws him across the room. I thought it was really well done.
I will say we did forget to say that Crismo ends up killing Major Ragoso. Where he's
yes.
Yeah.
He
just threw a blade at him.
It was so insignificant.
It was really nothing. He just threw a blade at him.
Yeah, it was just like there and it was done. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, no, I appreciate you bringing that up, though.
That can be arranged.
Yeah, right. No, for sure, right? Yeah, over my dead body. Oh, okay, bet.
Yeah, and then he's dead.
This is why I got you guys on here, because you guys can cover me for the spots I miss. So, no, this is great. They end up locking everybody away. And Boba, by the way, is still we're supposed to be protecting her. Bro, wake up. She's not on your side.
He's still a kid, guys. He's still a kid. Give him a break. His dad died on Geonosis.
And I think it is worth mentioning that Boba does have some good in him, he
for sure.
Yeah, he does.
Well, I think it's interesting because when there's that moment in season 2 where he's ready to admit hey, I admit that I've done terrible things, right in front of the person that killed his father. He's like, look, I understand I've done terrible things, but you also murdered my father. And then there's that aggression there. And then Mace is kind of the one that's kind of a dick back to him. Well, you're just going to have to accept that that's what happened and just move on. So yeah, no, Boba definitely has some good in him. And then now that I'm thinking about it as well, there is that one, you were talking Clone Wars deleted scenes before. There's that one with him and Cad Bane, and it looks like he's trying to help out some hostages there or whatever, right?
Bane, does whatever it takes to complete missions and, even do evil when it's unnecessary. But Boba isn't about that.
Right.
With that deleted arc, he wants to help these hostages and help these innocent people, but Bane just doesn't care.
Newer Star Wars fans, Book of Boba Fett, y'all can understand that one there if y'all don't know what we're talking about. There's that scene, with him and the Tuskens and him looking after them and trying to, obviously the whole show is about him protecting his people on Tatooine, and I know that's not the popular thing for a lot of people, but I think what my point is though is that just shows you that there is good in Boba Fett, that he's not just this ruthless bounty hunter that's going to go around and do things for no reason. He does try to see the good in some things.
Yeah, he's a perfect example of an anti-hero in my opinion.
Yeah,
for sure. DJ, walk me through the scene where Ventress has the chat with Boba Fett, where they're almost to the drop-off point.
well, Boba Fett's like, I'll take the money and, deliver the girl and all that sorts whatsoever. And then Ventress is like, hey, I'm the last one on this, train here. I demand half of it. And then he's like, you just got into the game. And then Ventress is like, careful who you're talking to, boy. And then, like any other kid, Boba Fett gets all offensive. And then Ventress, out of the blue, just force chokes him. I'm like, yes, thank you. Shut him up for me, please.
Yeah,
I'm
just
sorry.
knock him down a couple pegs for sure.
Not gonna lie, man. I love young Boba Fett, but he was annoying, man, through Clone Wars. Ugh.
Honestly, my whole thing with Boba Fett, and this has been for the longest time, I never understood, whether it be the original trilogy, Clone Wars, any of that, I never understood the hype around Boba Fett. The moment where I came around to Boba Fett was Mando Season 2, and I was like, okay, I get it now. I think I get what everybody found appealing about him. But yeah, Clone Wars Boba Fett to me was kind of just like, yeah, whatever. Like, obviously, as time has gone on, I've kind of grown to like him a little bit more, but yeah, no, I'm glad that Ventress knocked them down a couple of pegs and was like, you have no idea who you are talking to. Like, this is a separatist war criminal right here is who you're talking to, Boba. So you don't know what you're doing.
So many war criminals in one episode.
I want to say we did skip a scene where Pluma and Prisma are tied down. And
yep, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I didn't ask to be ripped away from my home, and you'll never know what it's like. But Ventress is like, oh no, I wish I didn't, but I do. And then Pluma's like, you don't even care what's gonna happen to us. And he's like, yeah, I don't care what's gonna happen to you. You're just another job. But then she's just like, don't move. I'm gonna deal with Boba Fett.
Yeah, right. Yeah, at least she was honest, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you are just another job that I couldn't care less about. Yeah, for sure. Well, and I also really love that scene as well because there's that pause there when Pluma says you'll never know what it's like to lose your family, and it's like, oh no, but actually she does know, she does understand. Like, this is a sympathetic moment for the audience to Ventress to make us sympathize with her, because no, she does exactly know what it's like. And me and Orcaz were talking about it in the last episode, but like, this arc is really the first time where I truly felt like I was rooting for Asajj Ventress to win. And not just because I want Dooku to lose. I want you to succeed because I care about you as a character, and I want to see you succeed in your new ventures that now involve, like, I guess, bounty hunting, I guess. Like, she's kind of stepped away from the whole like Clone Wars and being a war criminal and Sith Lord or whatever, or Sith assassin
stuff. So yeah,
for sure. So I want to get into this scene here with the big king or whatever, and the whole like putting Boba in the cargo thing. So I remember when I was watching this episode the first time, I'm like, okay, one of two things is about to happen here. Either A, that they're just going to hand him an empty cargo bin, or B, Boba Fett's in it. And I was like 85% certain that Boba Fett was in there, and it was going to be very funny.
Yeah.
And Ventress is like, here's the cargo, but bounty first. I'm like, okay, keep going. And she gets the credits, and I'm like, okay, I'm thinking this could still go either way. There is every chance that Ventress just left that thing empty. It wasn't until Ventress turned around and she just looks at everybody with a smile and says, enjoy. And I'm like, God, Bulba's 100% in there. And he opens it up and he's just like struggling. And I remember first time watching that, I got a massive kick out of it.
Yeah.
That scene was A+, man. I love it.
Hilarious.
But I do want to kind of like get dark here.
Yeah.
King was expecting a bride.
Yes.
He did say that. That was gross.
That is a child, bro. What the... Dude, Clone Wars, man. Like, what are you doing?
Well, and you know what's interesting as well? I think we were talking a little bit about the behind the scenes before. I think originally that Pluma's brother, they were originally going to make... The original plan was to make them lovers or like, boyfriend, girlfriend sort of thing. But then I think Dave made the call to change it because of the age difference there. Oh, sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, I was going to say, that's fair. I like that change where he made them brother and sister instead.
Agreed.
And then it worked out perfectly for the scene with the king expecting his bride. So, yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing was weird. It's like, oh my gosh, all right, you're just going to make this child your bride. Man, that's dark. Like,
dark.
Bro.
Yeah. Yeah, bro, for real.
And
bro, like you know what's even scarier too is like we don't even know like how old that king was. Like he looked old, but like in Star Wars with aliens and stuff, he could have been a lot older than like humans. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jeez, I don't even want to think about that. Ventress gets the money from the king, and then she makes an additional profit off of not turning them into the king from the ninjas. Prismo goes, "How do I know you won't take the credits and then hand us over?" Which Ventress makes a good point. You don't.
You don't
That's
know.
just the risk you take here. And so he's like, "Okay, fair enough. Hand him the credits." Ventress is like, "All right, run along now." And then that was that. Like Ventress. Yep. It was funny. It was like Ventress kind of like they walked away from the whole situation, and Ventress kind of had like a smile on her face. Like I never took it as like an evil smile. It was like something innocent, just kind of like, yeah, you know what? I did the right thing there, even though I made like a ton of money off of them. But
I got money off of them too.
That could have been their life savings. You don't even know. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, she's a hustler.
Dude, hey, you got it. Bounty hunting. You got to do what you got to do. It's a complicated profession, as that one guy in Mandalorian said.
At Bane, he would have just given the kid over to the king, to be fair. So.
Oh, for sure.
He would have.
Ventress probably did something more that like Fennec Shan would have probably done, maybe, and like not turn, because I feel like Fennec is another bounty hunter that has like a little bit of a code to her.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So then Ventress takes the money back to the bounty hunters and is like, "All right, I've already subtracted my share, but make sure Boba gets his share. He'll turn up eventually."
Yeah, he's somewhere. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be around. Just give him a couple days, maybe. But he might be married by the time that he comes back. You never know. Ventress is walking away, and Lotz is like, "Oh, you turned out to be quite the member of the team." And she's like, "I'm not a part of any team." And Boss looks at it as like, "Oh, what? You're too good for us?" He's like, "No, it's once I was just like you guys, but now I'm not that person. Now I have my own future." And I really like that because, again, it's just this whole idea of Ventress finding her own path away from the Clone Wars, away from Dooku, away from Sidious, all that hot nonsense. And now she's just going to do things the way that she wants to do them.
Very good character growth.
Yeah, for sure. Overall, what an episode. This one's so good. I love it. Everything, the action, episode. The story, all of it. It's fantastic.
10 out of 10, bro.
Yeah.
5-star.
5-star, 10 out of 10. Heck yeah, guys. Heck yeah. So I believe that is going to wrap us up for this week, you guys. Next week, I'm going to be on here talking with you guys about season 4, episode 21, I believe. Yes. And that's the episode titled Brothers. We're getting down to the wire, folks. We're getting down to the wire on season 4. And then, after season 4, we're going to be getting into season 5. A lot of great content coming up here, you guys. So you definitely don't want to miss out on any of it. We've got the Andor discussions that should be going up pretty soon. I can already promise you guys that I'm going to have much more fun continuing to make these Clone Wars videos than I will talking about anything Andor. I promise you that.
Spoiler, Andor fans. Andor dies in Rogue One.
Yeah, so nothing he does in this show matters.
Nothing matters. There's going to be so many people watching this video now. They're just be like, and click, I'm done with this. They were doing so good, and then they started talking crap about Andor, and I'm done. I'm done with this.
I don't care. I wanted to say that on here somehow, some way. So I just
Andor sucks, man. I don't care. Andor sucks. I don't care how many people try to spin it. Go on.
We love you. We love you, Andor fans, though. We love
you. Yeah. For sure.
We love you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Do y'all see the okay, this goes back. Did any of you guys watch my Acolyte videos? Do y'all remember
Yep.
Do y'all remember the video I did I think it was on the finale episode where I did like that bit at the beginning with like the scene from Ted where like Ted's yelling at his neighbor and then another neighbor opens up the door and they both start yelling at her.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. That's me and Andor fans. That's just like, I'm going to yell at you guys all day long. Yeah. And then Leslie Headland and the Acolyte comes in and we all just turn to her and be like, shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
We all hate each other until there's someone else that we both hate.
Oh, that's why I said anytime that there's like Acolyte stuff, me and Andor fans, we're at a truce. Like that's our enemy now.
Hey, you got to wear the shirt for the first episode.
You do.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I gotta find a way to incorporate the shirt more. Yes, but I did take photos of myself with it, so I'll incorporate that. But yeah, I definitely am gonna figure out how to incorporate the shirt more. Absolutely. Okay, we've gotten off the rails here, you guys. That is gonna wrap us up for today. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with others to help support the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.
Make me come down here, tough guy!
I am gonna come up there, and I'm gonna kick your fucking
fucking ass!
Why don't you try it, asshole? Get your ass up here and kick my ass!
Shut
Shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch! Get the fuck back to Richie, you whore!
There's a classy neighborhood people trying to sleep! God
Shut
damn
the
it!
fuck up! Hey, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, me too.
She's worse than us.
Yeah, she's our enemy now.